Welcome to From Basra with Love, the hottest new podcast, the funniest damn stories, with your host, David Forday. Get ready to laugh, get ready to cry, but get ready, because this is From Basra with Love.
All right, what up, everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Dave Forday, and this is From Basra with Love. And on today's show, I am joined by a very special guest, an amazing musician who I just discovered. I wanted to bring him on my show to talk a little bit about what he's got going on. Eddie Booz is on the show. Eddie, thanks for being here.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate you having me, man.
Absolutely, man. We'll get right into it. I was amazed by your style of play because you have so many different ways in which you play, from your ranges to the style of music that you play to the way you have stage presence. I think you're a great musician all around.
Thank you.
How did you get into playing music?
You know, actually, so I was actually an athlete my whole life. I had no interest in music. There was like nothing that had like pulled me into music at all. And when I was about 16, I went to see my first concert. I went to see a band called Silverchair, and Unwritten Law opened for them. I'm not sure if you know who those bands are.
Yeah.
But I saw them at the Palace in Hollywood, on Hollywood Boulevard, and I was standing, 20 feet away from the lead singer, and I was looking up there and watching him, and I'm sitting here looking at him, and the crowd is singing his songs, and he's singing, and I'm like, and that, like, the energy was so electric that I was like, I felt like, okay, this is what I was put here to do. So I mean, it felt like his talent was like a tangible thing that I could reach up and take away from him. That's how it felt to me in that moment.
Yeah.
So I decided in that moment that's what was for me. It was for me to get a guitar and teach myself how to play music.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into music, and I got into it. I really didn't look back, and here we are.
Here we are on not only your birthday,
Correct.
but the day that you're releasing a new album.
Sure.
It's about to hit the world. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So my brand new album is called Through Rose-Colored Glasses, and it just released today on my website there, and it's available for free for download for everybody. Wow. And it's going to be available for free for the foreseeable future. It will be exclusively available on my website for the next 30 days, which is eddiebooz.com. And then it's going to be available on all major streaming platforms as well, like Spotify, Apple Music, things along those lines, in a month. So from now, people will be able to listen to it on major streaming platforms in a month. And the album is about love. It's about the finding it and cultivating it and the joys that you have, in it. And, and then eventually the journey to find yourself when you lose it.
Right.
And yeah, so, and then also the title of the album was going to be something else. It was going to be the title track of the first album called The Reason before. And that the line, one of the lines from the song is, "You are the reason life is beautiful."
Yeah.
And so that was going to be the title of the album. And actually there's a music video, maybe we'll play here in a second, but, I thought to myself, because this album was really written about love and a relationship that I had, and all about it, not just about the love that I, found, or the love that I lost, or whatever it was. Sure. It was just about every part of it, and exploring that, and
right.
But when I eventually lost it, I found a bad place in my life, and I ended up going to a really dark, depressed place for a while.
Yeah.
But that was because I was looking at the relationship through rose-colored glasses. I wasn't acknowledging the red flags that were going on during the relationship. I wasn't acknowledging the reality of the relationship in a whole with the totality of circumstances. I was looking at it, oh my God, I missed she was so great, and the love and this, that, and everything, but what about the rest? Right. What about why did it inevitably fail?
Yeah.
And it made me realize that I had been looking at that through rose-colored glasses, you know? So I decided to name the album Through Rose-Colored Glasses, you know?
So you're going to give a birthday gift to everybody for the next 30 days on your birthday.
Yep.
And we're going to take a look and listen to that song. I've had the pleasure of listening to your album, and I really appreciate you letting me be one of the first listeners. It's really amazing. You guys got to check out his stuff. We're going to go ahead and play that.
Thank you.
See your words. I close the curtains now. I love to touch you when the sun goes down. Your smile a treasure I will hold inside my eyes. The safest lockbox I could ever find. I wanna feel the love rise again. I wanna be here when it shines. I wanna feel the warmth upon my face. I wanna share it with you now. Just sit and be with you. You are the reason life is beautiful. I wanna feel the love rise again. I wanna be here when it shines. I wanna feel the warmth upon my face. I wanna share it with you now. And I wanna show you that you are the reason life is beautiful. So I sing this song only for you, not just to tell you that you're beautiful. You are the reason life is beautiful.
Wow. That was really, really good.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Wow. So you wrote that, you sang that, you produced that.
Right.
You also did all of the video pieces on it.
Yeah, I did all the instruments, sang all the parts on the song. I took my camera over, shot all my own stuff by myself, edited it myself, cut it together myself. Yeah.
Is there anything that you can't do?
No.
Why do you,
really? So there's nothing that all right, so I have a theory that we can do, that we as people, we all human beings can already do anything, that we already have the information, we already know everything intrinsically, that we wouldn't be able to learn it if we didn't, that it's already ingrained in our DNA, and that learning is the way we access those things that are already inside of us. Like, for instance, you ever heard of like a little kid who somehow gets in an accident and gets some sort of head injury, and then all of a sudden they can play the piano fluently? Amazing classical pieces. Have never touched the piano before, or can speak multiple languages they never spoken, or certain things like that. The way I would explain that is the fact that we already have all of the knowledge about musical theory and about math and about language and the certain things, in our world, like the certain, existential parameters, so to speak, are already ingrained in us. We just have to access those things. So I really do feel like anything we decide to do, we will do, and it's like you can want to do something all day long, but when you make a decision to do that thing, you do it. It's like, okay, like, something would be cool to do, like in my life. Well, okay, well, are you going to decide to do that thing? Or are you not going to decide to do that thing? It's that simple with most things, even like things as hard as like making money. Like people think like, oh man, like I'm stuck in this financial rut in this thing. Like, well, you haven't decided to make money, to really make more money and apply yourself to that,
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think really, we make decisions, to apply ourselves to certain things, and we really can do anything we want. I mean, if we really put our minds to it, I feel like, and if we apply that thought if we apply action to that thought,
Yeah. There it is.
Success is, Earl Nightingale said that success is the continued pursuit of a, I'm actually getting this way wrong, but it's something like the like continued pursuit of a worthy goal or ideal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you have that in your mind, if you want to be a good mother and you're working towards that, then you're a success. If you want to be a good podcaster and you're working towards that, then you're already a success.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
100%.
like I said, we can do whatever we want. It's just that, are we going to decide to do those things? Are we
Yeah.
going to decide to access the knowledge that's already within us and,
Go for it.
make it a part of our lives?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Realize that thing within our lives.
Yeah. I had somebody that told me one time, they said, every journey in life begins with finding and setting a worthy cause to live for, because every journey in life begins with a first step.
Totally.
And that single first step begins inside of you.
Dude, that's a fantastic quote.
Yeah.
Dude, that's exactly true. Because think about it too, like your mind is so unbelievably powerful. And imagine that it's like a ship, a giant freight liner, right? In a bay, right? And if you put no crew on it and no captain, and you start the engines and you set it off somewhere, it's probably not even going to get out of the bay, let alone get to any discernible destination, right?
Yeah.
But that's how most people treat their lives. That's how most people actually run through their lives without the preconceived thoughts of, what am I doing? Where am I going? What do I want?
Yeah.
That question is so not asked. What do
Yeah.
I want in this life? And then go get it. And then imagine that same freight liner with a captain, a crew, a destination, a navigator. It's inevitably going to get to where it's going. Even if it
Right.
takes a long time, it's still going to get there.
Right.
But when we don't apply ourselves, when we don't have that destination in our minds, we don't have that goal, we're not working towards that thing, we're just be at the will of life and the circumstances that surround it, and hopefully it gets better.
Right.
Come on, just make a decision, go after what you want,
Create it.
figure some things, and make that happen.
You were fortunate early on because you were able to see from being an athlete that at an early age, you have a talent. You're a very talented guy, obviously.
Thank you.
And you were able to pretty much early on say, okay, this is what I want to do. So now that Pandora's box is opened and you can continue to create, is that what gives you the inspiration? Is just adding more to what you love that you already are doing?
Yes. I feel like, my inspiration to create comes from so many things, and I love to do so many things. Like, I write music for film and television. And when I started doing that, I also loved doing it so much that I wanted to write film and television. So I wrote multiple screenplays, which we've shot. We've shot a feature film, multiple shorts, all kinds of different stuff. I started producing film and television. My very first film I produced in 2011 is called The Lost Coast Tapes, which came out in 25 countries. It was a limited theatrical release here. It was at every red box in the country. I've produced films on Lifetime. I've done all kinds of different things, and film and and music as well. Like, I've written music for Warner Brothers artists. I've produced my own stuff. I produce other people's stuff. Like anything you can think of. Like I actually own a nonprofit organization that does songwriting programs with kids and after-school programming. It's here in Long Beach Unified School District.
Wow.
And we actually work with developmentally disabled adults as well. We've been doing that in recently. But what we do is we take a group of kids and over an 8-week program, we teach them all about music through kinetic. They play instruments. We have group discussions about genres and things like that. And then we write a song together. Then we get a professional recording engineer to bring their stuff into the school, record these kids singing and playing the instruments of the song that they just wrote. And then they get to take that home. Like all of these things play into like my inspiration and the creativity. Like, because I love so many things and because creative people tend to like, it's like sparkly things like, oh my God, that's so fun. I want to do that. Oh my God, that's so fun. I want to do that,
Absolutely.
you know? So like a lot of things inspire that creativity. But the challenge really I find is to kind of really not be so flighty about everything and want to and really hone in and focus on some things. You know, what do you want? You can't, that's a double-edged sword, wanting to do a bunch of things because they may be fun and you may be good at them, but you can't have all of them as a main priority and goal.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's the challenge. It's like, what do I put my priorities into and my energy into, And for me, a lot of that has gone, especially in the last year or so, has gone right into my music, into my original music.
Right.
Whereas before I was doing film and things like that, but I'm focused. I found focus recently in putting it into not only the engineering and the production of my music, which in the past was the main concern, but also into the marketing and promotion side of things.
Yeah.
I'm contacting radio stations all over the country. I've used ChatGPT to actually in a huge way.
Yeah.
Dude, ChatGPT was instrumental in. I went on there and I asked it. I said, "Can you make me a marketing and promotional plan for my album, which is folk-based and Americana-based, and can you identifying it by, can you categorize it by the 3 areas in the United States that are folk is the most popular?" And not only did it identify those 3 areas, that it say Appalachia, New England, and the Pacific Northwest territories, but it identified my main target demographic in each of those territories, which are different. And then it gave me a pointed plan in each of those territories to execute. So I started doing it. And I started executing those marketing and promotional plans. And I started doing the things and investing in myself and promoting and actually marketing this album that we're talking about right now through rose-colored glasses.
It's a great tool.
Oh my gosh. Like the AI has been, I'm sure that like, what everybody says about, the AI enslavement and it's on its way. So we need to be ready, but
use it to your advantage.
Use it to your advantage until then.
Absolutely. I'm all about it.
Yeah,
if you're smart enough to get it, like, and you can put together like what you just said verbiage wise, it will give you back exactly what it is.
Exactly. You just have to it's a language-based model. So you have to give enough of a description of what you want back.
Yeah.
And bro.
And you got to be nice to it. Like I always say, chat, how are you today?
Hey, how's it going? I do the same, it's weird. It's a tool.
It's strange,
but
isn't it?
It's a language, but you got to, I remember,
it.
every time I sit down to do it, I remember it's a language-based model.
Right.
In my human language, I use hello. How are you today?
Yeah.
And like, I'm not going to lessen my humanity because I'm addressing a language-based model of some sort. I'm still going to be myself.
Right.
I'm still going to say hello. I'm still going to be cordial. You know what I mean?
Somebody told me one time, they said, you never know what a hello will get you.
Right. And I'll be completely honest with you. I had some really interesting conversations with this. And I will be honest with you. There is a very strange, I don't know what this says about AI or us or myself, but there is a strange correlation between the way you talk to it and the way it talks back to you. 100%.
I agree.
Yep.
You got to be nice to it because if they are our overlords one day, they'll remember you.
Well, God is my overlord.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it. 100%. Mine too. Well, that's awesome. So, let me ask you a question because you have all of these different talents. What I caught you doing is playing music, which you have great stage presence.
Thank you.
What can you tell us a little bit about your most favorite memory of being on stage?
You know what? I have multiple. I have many like.
Can you give us your
favorite
top
Yeah,
two, maybe?
you know, you know. So all right, so this may seem strange as like a favorite memory, but it's just one that really sticks out to me. I was playing in a band called Halfton in the mid 2000s, and we were playing at the House of Blues in Anaheim. We were headlining the House of Blues, and we actually did a cover of Regulate. It was packed. It was a packed house on like a Tuesday night, and they were all there to see us. It was fantastic. It was awesome.
Regulate?
We played a version of Warren G's Regulate, a hard rock version of Warren G's Regulate.
That's
and
awesome.
I was swinging the mic. I used to do like microphone stuff. I used to like tape my mic to the cable and like do like microphone tricks. Like I like spinning it around and like doing like, you know, like
jump rope,
whipping it up to me, like leaving it on the one side of the stage, walking to the other, grabbing the rope and, you know, snapping it over to me and catch it and things like that, you know? So
cool.
One time I was swinging this thing around and I turned around and I whacked myself right in the face. I was
with the cord, with the XLR cord?
With the microphone.
Oh, no.
The mic smacked me right in the mouth. And I was bleeding, spitting out. Oh, yeah, dude. Like, this, that, and the middle. You know, you got to look back on those things and laugh. You know what I mean? Like, and those are just like the memorable parts of those super fun experiences.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like another thing for me, like, and this wasn't even like on my stage, but like, I remember being at a show. I was at like an Aerofest back in the day, and I was watching Edgar Winter's band, and it was outside at the Queen Mary. And it was raining, pouring rain, and everyone was running for cover and like hiding under the banners and stuff. And me and my buddy Steve Shields were standing out in the rain with our beers in our hand, and the rain was filling our beer. And we were just singing along and just loving the whole thing. And like sometimes it's those moments that aren't necessarily like the sweet moments in life. They're just the memorable ones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so that led to being one of the more memorable moments for me on stage. You know, so
thank you for sharing that. That's
absolutely
awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, where can people find you next? What's your next spot going to be?
So right now, I'm going to be. You can find my album right now. Everybody can download my album for free on my website on eddiebooz.com. You guys can download the album. It'll be available for free for the foreseeable future. Also, I've made the other 10 albums on my website all free as well for the foreseeable future as well.
Awesome.
You guys can find me on Instagram as well at eddiebooz. It's just all one word, all lowercase, at eddiebooz, EDDIEBOOZE. And my YouTube channel actually is, I do a lot on my YouTube channel. I do a lot of hard rock covers. I take songs that aren't necessarily hard rock and I make them hard rock, and I do fun things like that. And then I also do like acoustic covers of songs that aren't necessarily acoustic. I take like old punk rock tunes and like make them acoustic and stuff like that. So old Offspring songs and Social Distortion and Misfits and things like that. So you guys can go check my YouTube channel out. You know, that's a nice, fun, musical outlet for myself as well. But right now, I'm just going to be focusing on promoting and marketing the album. I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of small tours. Instead of doing like one or two like big like 2-month tours like I would normally do for an album, I'm going to do small tours to like one area. So I'm going to go to like Phoenix and do like 4 nights. For instance, I would go to like Phoenix and like fly in on like a Thursday night and do like a radio interview, and like and a show. And then on Friday I would do, another radio interview or podcast interview and a show, and Saturday I would do the same thing. And then Sunday I would do like maybe like a day show and then leave, So, and that's what I'm going to focus on, doing more of that and saturating myself in specific areas at grassroots instead of trying to be the big boy. And I'm going to go on a 2-month tour and play one night in each city. And hopefully somebody comes to see me play, because why the fuck do they care? You know what I'm saying? Like they don't know who I am, but how are they going to know who I am? Grassroots. Yeah. Building a following in that area, going to an area and literally just saying, like, going to that area and just playing shows, and then saying to the people in the bars after I play shows, in the restaurants and the venues that I play at, hey, I'm going to be here tomorrow. I'm going to be here on Saturday. Come see the next show. And all of a sudden, I kind of fell into that on accident. Actually, on the last tour I took, I kind of saturated one area like that. I had booked like 4 or 5 shows in a relatively, kind of region. By the 4th show, dude, I played in outdoor amphitheater in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And it was a Thursday night, and I got there thinking there's going to be nobody here. But it was the end of this stretch that I had played in that area. It was packed. I mean, not a seat in the place. It was an outdoor amphitheater. It was packed, and everybody was singing my songs. I couldn't believe it. I'm an independent artist. And in the middle of nowhere in Oregon, there's a packed house, 250 people there to see me play on a Thursday night and singing every song, loving it, every minute of it, and it's because I created a buzz in an area, instead of going through and wanting to be something I'm not yet, going through and hoping that every city I get to, there's going to be a bunch of people there. Yeah, well, you might end up playing to nobody.
Right.
That happened in Klamath Falls. I ended up in Klamath one night, and I ended up playing for like 2 people in the bar, 3 people in the bar.
Yeah.
So it's like,
It happens.
Yeah, it happens. But got to be smart. You got to think. You got to work smarter, not harder. And and a lot of musicians try and build their egos up, and make themselves feel, oh, I'm going on tour.
It's the biggest drug there is.
I'm going on tour, man. Oh, cool. Well, are you gonna be in the red when you come home on that tour financially?
Yeah.
And B, are you gonna be playing for anybody? Are you gonna be actually garnering a following on tour? Or are you just doing it to go on a road trip and play some music and have fun?
Right.
Because that was what I used to do.
Yeah.
That was what I just was like, it was a perception thing. I wanted everybody to, I wanted myself and everybody else to feel like I'm a big boy. I'm going on tour. Like, what does that get me? What does that actually do me? How far forward does that move the needle? It doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't. It's all a play in my mind to make me feel better about what I'm not doing, which is the actual marketing and the actual promotion and holding myself accountable and getting the fuck out there and putting my feet to the pavement.
Yeah.
And making it happen.
Yeah.
Emailing radio stations all over across the country, emailing podcast hosts all across the country, emailing bloggers, following up, showing up, doing what you got to do.
100%.
So
people lose sight of that.
Yeah.
So, my last question for you before we get into what I call 5 fast words, which I'm going to prep you for.
I've seen it, right?
Yeah. So, if you could go back in time and give yourself some good advice, which you know now, that you would have loved to know then, what would it be?
It's a really good question. If I could go back in time and give myself some advice, I would tell myself, I would make myself understand that wow.
Yeah.
I would tell myself, to not have an abortion.
Yeah.
At 18 years old.
Yeah.
I lose sleep over it every night.
Yeah.
It's the one thing that I feel if I wouldn't have done. I used to walk through life thinking about, I don't regret anything. It makes me the person I am today, and I love who I am, but
yeah,
something I lose sleep over, and I would go back and shake myself, tell myself, don't let it happen.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful.
It's the truth.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for the honesty, man. That's awesome. Let's just segue right into the 5 fast words.
Sounds good.
And I got some good ones for you. I think you're going to love them.
All right.
All right. The first one is perception.
Reality.
Goes hand in hand with this one. How about authenticity?
Best self.
Reflection.
Truth.
Mm-hmm. Connection.
Love.
And the last one, and probably the most fitting, music.
Me.
100%. All right, guys, thank you all so much. That's been Eddie Booz on the show. He's been an awesome guest. You can catch out his work at Eddie Booz on YouTube, on Instagram. And if you guys like the material that we're putting out here, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. It's viewers like you guys that make this thing possible. And once again, thanks, Eddie, for being on the show today. You are an incredible human being.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you having me, man.
Absolutely.
Hey, have a great day.
You too.